Hello everyone. Today we are diving deep into a crucial topic, the financial sustainability of energy initiatives. This presentation is based on comprehensive financial analysis prepared by the Financial Analysis Division. Often we talk about the sustainability, whether it's solar energy, recycling, or electric transport. The conservation focus purely on the environment, but for these initiatives to be truly visible in a long term, they must make financial sense. Today, we are going to talk through a detailed analysis of UAE's major sustainability initiative across four sectors: energy, water, waste management, and transport. Let's look at the bigger picture first. If you look at the executive summary on the screen, the headline number is staggering. The total net present value, also known as NPV, of an initiative we analyzed is AED 8.87 billion. It isn't just a cost saving, it's the value generated. Across the portfolio, we are seeing an average return on investment, also known as ROI, of 2.25. That means for every dirham invested, the return is more than double. Furthermore, these project and projected to reduce total emission by 4.38 million tons of CO2 equivalent. Let's start with our strongest performer, solar energy. In the UAE, we are leveraging technologies like photovoltaic PV for large farmers and concentrated power solar power CSP, which use mirror to generate heat. We are also seeing innovation in floating solar to save land area. Major players like Deva and Masad are leading this charge. Moving to the crucial sector for arid region, water. We looked at grey water recycling, treated sewage, effluent, and even renewable distillation. Waste reduction. Waste reduction is one of the most important initiatives in today's world, which is being managed by Dubai Municipal and Bees Sharjah Environmental Company, and the ROI tends to be at 1.7%. Next, we talk about mobility. This sector is fascinating because of the financial argument relies heavily on social benefit. We are looking at the electrification of buses, taxis, and the necessary charging infrastructure. Brands like RTA and Emirates Steel Archive are heavily involved here. Steel recycling technologies. Let's start with magnetic separation system. These systems use advanced magnetic process to efficiently extract steel from mixed scraps and materials. Electric arc furnaces, also known as EAFs. Instead of using coal, these furnaces melt recycled steel using electricity. This shift dramatically low energy consuming and help reduce the carbon footprint steel. Automated sorting. With the help of AI, it's being done. Automated sorting technology enhance the purity and recovery rate of a recycled steel. Methodology and approaches. Before we get into the specific sector, I want to brief touch on a methodology to give you confidence in these numbers. We approached this utilizing by 25-year life cycle, assuming Sustainability projects often have a high upfront cost but pay off over decades, so a short term view doesn't work. Our analysis relies on the three main pillars capex and opex. We broke down capital expenditure like equipment and land alongside operating expenses like maintenance and energy. Financial metrics. We use net present value NPV, return on investment ROI, and the payback period to measure profitability. Marginal marginal amendment cost curve MAC. This is critical. It measures how much it comes cost to abate 1 ton of CO2. It tells us which green initiative give us the most bang for our buck. We also focus in UAE specific framework and risk mitigation strategy to ensure our projections and realistic for the region. Let's look at the financial of a representative solar unit. On this slide, you see a capex breakdown totaling AED 114.4 million for a specific facility. The biggest cost, the solar panel themselves, at AED 45 million or 39% of the total. Land acquisition is the another massive chunk at AED 40 million. Now look at the operating expenses OPEX on the next slide. The total projected OPEX over the plant's lifespan is just over AED 210 million. The maintenance of LED models is significant, reducing costs occurring every 10 years. However, note that uh, regulatory compliance and cyber security are annual rec- recurring costs we must account for. If we look at the investment breakdown on the current side, you will see a total net present value capex of roughly AD 73 million for a specific infrastructure project. A huge portion of this, 67%, is actually land and site preparation. Interestingly, the smart tech, the IoT sensors only represent about 4.8% of the cost, but they are essential for efficiency. Now, here is the most important insight from our water analysis. Not all the water projects are financially equal. We found that residential grey water system are actually unprofitable. They shows a negative ROI of minus 0.25. It simply costs too much to retrofit individual homes related to the savings. However, the large scale industrial and municipal system offer a maximum internal rate of return of 61%. Therefore, our strategic recommendation is clear avoid residential expansion, focus the investment on large scale reuse system. By doing this, we optimize the scenario to achieve an NPV of AED 520,000 for this specific model and an overall ROI of 1.85. This initiative help us avoiding energy initiative desolation, reducing emission by 420,000 tons. Now let's look at what this financial investment actually buys us in terms of environmental impact. The origin line represents the business as usual striking with diesel and hybrid. You can see the sharp decline starting in the 2025 by transforming the electric buses to EV taxis. We aren't just slowing down emission, we are stabilizing them and around 105,000 tons per year compressed to 150,000 under the old model. That represent a 30% total reduction in the emission. The capex for electric buses is significantly higher than the diesel, about AED 3.82 billion total. However, the operational savings are 35% over the vehicle's lifetime because electricity is cheaper than diesel and EVs have fewer moving parts. But here is the real story. The social benefit analysis, the translation to electric mobility creates job about 4,000 new position. It improve air quality and reduce noise. Where we monetize these social benefit, they exceed the upfront cost by AED 2.5 billion. Finally, let's break down the annual operating benefits. If you look at the green bar on the chart, the representation of fuel cost saving by eliminating conventional fuel for public transport, we are saving around AED 2,800 million annually. That decide economic advantage. But also we have a value, the environment impact. The blue bar represent the monetary value of reducing carbon emission, which we values at AED 900 million. So when we are combining the direct fuel saving with the environmental benefits, the conclusion is clear. This initiative delivers a massive net economic advantage while supporting our sustainability target for the next 25 years. Marginal amendment cost curve. I want you to pay close attention to this chart, the marginal amendment cost curve. See the bar for electric buses. It's a negative AED 367 per ton of CO2. A negative cost measure. We are saving money while reducing carbon. It is the most effective reduction potential we found, even better than hydrogen buses. The total NPV of transport sits at AED 2.62 billion with a payback period of just 4.5 years. It is a win for the economy, the environment, and the society. Moving to our steel recycle investment, the most powerful story here is on the right. The traditional steel manufacturing is energy initiative, but recycling steel cuts that consumption down to just 35%. The massive efficient driven the business case while the initiative capex is between AED 147 and 220 million. The operational saving are so significant that we see a payback in just 5 to 7 years. When we look at the broader impact, those efficiencies translate directly into the value. Environmentally, we are seeing a 58% reduction in the CO2, but financially, there is a game changer. Recycling steel gave us around 550 to 740 AED cost advantage per ton compared to new steel. So, what is the result of the investment? If we scale this up to the full initiative, the total capex is AED 2.75 billion. That sounds high, but because solar reduces operational cost by 64% compared to conventional fossil fuel, the return are massive. The total NPV of the solar initiative is AED 4.35 billion. The payback period is 7.5 years. In the world of energy infrastructure, recovering your billions in under a decade is an excellent result. Environmentally, this falls into the low cost, high impact quadrant. We are abating 2.8 million tons of CO2, making solar the backbone of our net zero 2050 strategy. These are the results for the water initiatives and the comparison between the capex, NPV, and CO2 abatement. Capex is said to be 1.25 billion AED, whereas NPV is AED 520 million, and abatement of the carbon dioxide is 420,000 ton. Let's look at the waste reduction outcome. With a capex of AED 980 million, the financial return is undeniable, generating a net present value of 1.18 billion and a solid ROI of 1.7. But the operational impact is even bigger. We are cutting 510,000 ton of CO2, and most important, we are tribed our recycling efficiency, taking the rate from 25% to the way up to 75%. First, let's dive into the financials. The biggest question we always get is about the upfront cost. If you look at the chart on the right, you can see that the capital expenditure or the capex for the electric bus fuel is AED 3.82 billion. Yes, that is slightly higher than the AED 3.55 billion for a standard diesel fuel, primarily but because we are building out the necessary charging infrastructure. Talking about the operations, because we are reducing the fuel and maintenance cost, we are looking at 35% lifetime saving on the OPEX. When you run the number over the project's life, look at the bottom left, we have a strong net present value of 82.62 billion. This confirms the project isn't just environmentally sound, it's financially viable. On top of that, we are creating roughly 4,000 new jobs and removing over 600,000 ton of CO2 over the next 25 years. For the steel recycling, the focus is on using electric arc furnaces EAF rather than traditional method. Recycling steel often cost advantage of AED 550 to 730 per ton compared to a new steel. The environmental impact is massive, reducing energy consumption by 60 to 70%. The total NPV for the steel initiative is not explicitly summarized, but the operational expansion reduction of 27% confirm it a strong visibility. Comprehensive impact summary. So let's begin it all together. If you look at the summary table, you can see how the portfolio performs as a whole. Solar is our heavyweight champion with the highest NPV of AED 4.35 billion. Public transport is the fast paying payback at just 4.5 years. Water waste provides critical infrastructure reliances and crucial economic benefit. The total investment required is AED 11.27 billion. The total estimated reduction is over 10 million ton and the average ROI is 1.8. This confirms that there aren't just nice to have green projects, they are reboot risk financial investment. Strategic recommendation: integrated implementation. We shouldn't carry up implementing these five initiatives together, maximizing the economic scenario. Deploy smart tech. We need to double down on AI and IoT as we saw it in the water sector. The smart sensors are tiny cost financial but drives the efficiency. PPP, public private partnership. The handle of AED 11 billion capex. We need a strong PPP to finance these projects supported by clear regulatory framework.